Hey, what's the matter? Come on, you can tell me. Don't worry, Spike will be back soon. Oh, hey, I got something. Yep, it's a whopper, all right. Talk about dull, Daniel. Why settle for a peak, Daniel, when you can see everything from Lookout Mountain? If you're gonna ride, Dano, ride in style.
Turbo rubbing, young punk. I'll straighten you out yet.
What?
You can win if you dare.
Decepticons! Save it, Cup! Not bad for an old-timer. Let's burn rubber. Wrong. They're our way in. Hey, I wasn't worried for a microsecond. I've got to help Prime. No, you don't, Megatron. Optimus, forgive me, Prime. And you better stay close to me. You're right, it can't. I just got this feeling.
Come on, you big bozo, get in the shuttle.
Hey, Cup, don't you think we have better things to do now than tell old stories? Like maybe figure out how we're gonna rescue our friends and then save Cybertron. They're closing on us. How'd you beat them? They're coming back.
All right, we survived that. We're gonna crash.
Cup! Grimlock! Slag! Anybody! Talk to me. No way, you're just a little stiff. I thought they were supposed to reciprocate. No more. Ba weep grana weep nini bong. Every place reminds you of someplace else. A lot of good it's done us so far. Let him go! Optimus. This is the end of the road, Galvatron. Now, light our darkest hour. Autobots, transform and roll out. Let this mark the end of the Cybertronian Wars as we march forward to a new age of peace and happiness. Till all are one!
Rodimus to Elite Guard Command! We are under attack. Repeat, requesting backup. We are under attack. Sir, I don't know how long we can keep the comms from the space bridge. Ironhide, Brawn, transform and fall back. We need to protect the space bridge. You'll have to get past me first, Deceptor creeps. Cosmic Rust.
Alright, this is going to be a special little conversation. Don't know which show it's going to go under. It'll probably go under All Things Transformers, but since we have Proto Man with us, we're going to discuss TFA Rodimus.
Really? Okay.
Only because I've seen the Photoshop version, I've seen the thing from SDCC, and of course we probably all have the images that GogDog posted on Twitter back from BotCon. I actually have some of the images pulled up. What I'm wondering is where the hell are his back wheels in the robot form? Or his front...
Oh, crap, I have to pull up those images now. Then I'll be able to tell you, did anyone link me?
I don't have them on hand.
Hold on.
Because I have on my computer.
Give me 1 sec, I'll find them.
Yes. Because even though the Photoshop version of this is, first of all, the car mode is mistransformed with the Autobot insignia on top instead of the engine, and obviously the coloring is off compared to the actual toy. I still want to know where the other two wheels are, because just looking at the robot mode, it doesn't really show. I don't know, it's just weird. And I want to know when these damn toys are going to be released, damn it. Do we know if they actually announced a release for these?
Nope.
No.
There's nothing official set in stone at the moment, sadly. I mean, I'm just as eager as you are to get my hands on these figures.
Teasing us with this shit if it's not if it's not going to be released anytime soon. This is sad.
Dude, if it doesn't get released, I'm going to riot, okay? Like, trust me. Let's put it this way, right? The only time there ever has been a Rodimus figure that never got released was they made, at BotCon, I believe it was BotCon 2007, they showed off a repaint of the 3-inch titanium Rodimus, and they called it Dark Rodimus, okay? And I was really looking forward to that because the titanium toys, they always have a little paper that gives a little profile and story. So I was really curious what they were going to write for Dark Rodimus in English, because we've gotten a Dark Evil Rodimus in the Japanese continuity. So I was really curious how it was going to be written out this time around. That being said, that one never got released, and that I was really angry at that one, let me tell you. As for the wheels, okay, I'm looking at the image right now.
Which one are you looking at?
Someone actually took a video at BotCon, where he's kind of like walking around it.
Is this the TFCon video or the?
No, not
sorry,
TF.
not the TFCon. I mean the STCC video that Allspark filmed. Because they haven't. Do they have it up yet, or?
I don't know. It's a guy named Jetfire 2004 that's posting it. I'm just trying to like get an idea here. See, that's the thing. I'm just as surprised as you, Mike. Like, this is a very magical figure, to say the least, in terms of where a lot of stuff goes. But that's very atypical of.
You mean typical of?
Yeah, of animated toys. You have to realize, like, if you look at his shoulders, okay, that's the rear end of the car.
Okay, then that's fine. On the legs, where the hell are the wheels? Because
the legs definitely. See, how I see it is like this: the front wheels, okay, are gonna like tuck into his chest.
Okay,
that's how I see it. They're gonna fold into his chest and collapse, okay. And then the whole thing is just gonna flip topsy-turvy because all that kibboleth legs and stuff. I guarantee if you turn that Rodimus toy upside down, you see everything. Like the vehicle mode,
right?
It's gonna be like Jazz, where like when you turn like the animated Jazz toy. I don't know if you have that one.
Yeah, I do.
If you turn the animated Jazz upside down, it's all very apparent, you know. And animated Jazz is another figure that those legs have not a drop of kibble on them, you know. But he has everything is like so. I really picture he's going to be along those lines. And again, the good thing is I'm looking at these the photos that like GogDog put up also to give you an idea of his size. He's pretty damn big. I mean, he's standing next to the combined form of the Jet Twins and Lugnut, and he's standing higher than both of them.
Yeah.
You know, so that he's a Jazz, he's a Jazz deluxe-sized figure.
Yeah.
Or I mean, he's not lockdown, but he's definitely like high up there.
Yeah, when I first saw the image of him in robot mode, just on him himself, I'm looking at the figure, and what really perplexes me is the legs. The legs, if you look right in, I'm sorry to say this, but if you look like close to the crotch area where the legs are supposed to go into the body, those legs, they look like they're about the same size as Soundwave's. They just don't look like they're that tall, but I mean, if you look further down towards the feet, it looks like they are bigger. I don't know. It just when I first saw this picture, I'm like, oh crap, another.
Oh no, this is going to be a tall figure.
Yeah.
This is how I see it is the entire lower half, if you will, like I guess from the belt down, all of that is going to be folded and tucked and nicely put together under the entire car mode.
Right.
The chest obviously folds up. The head is obviously going to fold into the car mode too. The wheels pop out of the sides because they're folded into the chest, which make the car hood.
Right.
The wheels go back. The shoulders go back to make the rear end of the car, and then you straighten out the arms to make the side kibble, if you will, for the car mode. That make the side of it with the pipes and everything. It's gonna look gorgeous. I trust me. I've stared like to death at this picture. Like a billion times and played the transformation out in my head before owning the toy. I think the only thing that I'm questioning is where his crossbow goes. But I chalk it up to the fact that I think it probably folds and then it attaches somewhere on the rear of the car to make an exhaust. But I'm thinking like Classics or Henkei Rodimus. I don't know. I don't know where that goes, but I'm pretty sure maybe it's going to go under the car mode. One person was telling me that probably like fits under the spoiler, but I don't believe that.
Have you seen the Photoshop image?
Yes, again, if I learned anything from Hasbro, the Photoshop image is complete garbage. You know, it doesn't.
Okay, and that's fine. I mean, I can completely point out the fact that the color scheme as far as the red is all wrong.
Oh, it's all wrong. But you know what? When I saw that, I wasn't even slightly disappointed because.
Oh no.
Look. Before we saw this Photoshop image, we saw the real toy.
Yeah.
So anything they're going to show to us is not going to matter. They could have showed us that Photoshop image. He could be pink and purple, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And I would have been like, that's really nice and funny. Good thing you guys were using Photoshop, you know? Look,
yeah. But
Derek Wyatt was holding the toy in his hand.
Yeah.
You know, he actually has the toy. It was shown at BotCon. There's two molds of it that were shown at BotCon in both forms. Mm-hmm. I'm not worried. The toy looks gorgeous. We know what we're getting. The Photoshop image is the Photoshopped image. It was probably made before the toy came to fruition, but it was released after the fact of the matter.
Right, but if you look at the Photoshop image, because I actually have 3 different images of it. I have the the two modes together in one image, and then I have them separately in two separate images. If you,
Which are higher quality. Yeah.
I don't know if they're higher quality or not, but if you look at the one that's the car mode image, it looks like the crossbow fits on top of the car.
That is a possibility. It could be like Sentinel Prime or the others where they just kind of go, okay, let's just find a place where it clips on top. Kind of like the G1 Constructicons with their accessories or any combiner for that matter.
Yeah, but I mean, that isn't that bad of a place to put that, though. It does.
Oh, of course not. In fact, the Classics Rodimus toy does something similar. It also has something where like the spoiler kind of like flips up and makes some kind of cannon mode too. So it works. There's they're gonna have to try really hard to get me to hate on this toy. You know?
Oh, no. I'm just hating on them for the fact they're not releasing it yet. And
of course not.
And they release it under the animated line.
You have to realize something. Prior to, I think it was Energon Rodimus, aka Superlink Rodimus, there wasn't a new mold of a Rodimus toy in a very long time that transformed.
Oh yeah.
We got the PVCs and the Mega PVCs and statues and all kinds. And then when that toy was coming out, I freaked out, man. I went nuts. And then what happened was a stolen test shot of it went on eBay of this, Superlink Rodimus, Energon Rodimus. And I paid through my nose for it. One of those, it has like embroidered on it, do not sell,
Yeah.
I bought that, And so whenever this gets, stolen Chinese bootlegged or whatever and gets put on eBay, which it will happen, and when one of the Chinese from the factory steals this and puts it on eBay, oh man, it's like blank check all over again. It's just.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I by any means, all those like YouTube reviewer guys are going to be like, I got to get it so I get my YouTube hits. I'm going to be like, screw that, man. I'm getting it to enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
That's one, I get a lot of figures in advance through shady means, but I don't use it to get YouTube hits because, in all honesty, my YouTube account is more to show my fun at conventions rather than I don't like to review toys. I feel that forcing my opinion on toys to other people is kind of weird because everyone enjoys them on different levels.
Well, I guess you're co-hosting ToyCast then, do you?
It is, because if you ever listen to any of my reviews, it's kind of like, hey, I like this toy, but, you might hate it. That's how I am,
Yeah.
I'm always like, because everyone, like, again, a lot of times when I like a Transformer toy, it's usually a very personal reason.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love Blaster. Any form of Blaster, regardless. Why? Because he was my first Transformer toy ever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to take that away from me. Where someone might not like Blaster at all. Just hates the idea of an Autobot cassette player. And every incarnation that comes of it,
Oh, I know what that kind of thing is like. I mean, I've got figures that have been in my collection since forever. Like, I got a replacement Cheetor for my Transmetal Cheetor back at TFCon. I actually still have to open it because it's one of those things, because I got a mint in box one.
Oh, you got a mint on card one. Wow, nice.
Yeah. So I got it for $25 from somebody. So,
and let this be a lesson to everyone who's listening. Okay, General Techno got a Beast Wars toy mint on card many years later, and he paid $25 Canadian for it. So people don't think that there's a humongous aftermarket for toys you keep mint on card. Okay.
Well, if they're signed, it's more though. That's the thing. Like I've got some signed stuff that I don't plan on selling, but I'm sure it's worth more. So.
Just getting back to, I'm not trying to cut you off, Techno.
Oh, go ahead.
Back to Rodimus. I've on the image that GOG did for just the robot mode, I've zoomed in on the head. Not too impressed about the actual mouth, but just the head itself with the orange kind of helmet around his head and the light piping on the eyes. This has got to be I don't know if it was the light that was hitting it from image. The light piping on the eyes looks amazing.
What it is Derek Wyatt said that the entire Toys robot mode was based off of his first initial black and white sketch that we've seen. Remember that first sketch we saw of Rodimus? Mm-hmm. That very first one there? The entire robot mode was kind of based off of that.
Yeah.
And then, anything that we saw in animated in the show and everything, that all came afterwards. But that's where a lot, like same thing, the mouth design and all that. But you know what? It's all gorgeous. I love it to death. I think it's going to be easily my favorite animated figure for a completely biased reason.
Yeah, well, yeah.
aside from that, I think it's going to be a great figure, but it goes without saying because for one reason, I know I'm not the only one excited about this.
No, you aren't.
I know tons of people who are not so much Rodimus fans, but just general Transformer fans that are extremely excited about this figure. So it goes to say that, me loving it, aesthetically and character-wise is one thing, but I know that a lot of people who love this figure just for the fact of it being a figure and how great it is show that this thing is the bomb. It's amazing.
My only question is about the insignia on the chest. You know how you have on the gray version and the purple version of
Okay, yeah.
chocolate?
I talked with Derek White on the phone with this actually, because when I first saw the toy images from him, that was one of the first things that struck in my mind. Because how it works is when an Autobot insignia from an animated toy is red, it's released in the Universe line. When it's gray or silver, it's released in the animated line. To give you some examples, any of the Legends toys that have appeared in the Universe line, like Legends Optimus Prime, Legends Bumblebee, and Legends Starscream, which were from the animated line, the molds of those, they were released under the Universe line. They have red Autobot logos, okay?
I know, but I'm talking about the actual design on the toy itself as far as it's switching between the logo and the engine. My question would be, if you just tap that, is it going to automatically switch the engine back?
Oh, you're thinking Hot Wheels style, like the damage thingy or whatever, like the flip thingy?
Well, yeah, I'm thinking if you touch it even just for an instant after you transform it, if you touch it, it's going to immediately flip over to the engine. And you're going to have the engine.
Probably as solid as Shockwave's flip panel. Shockwave's panel doesn't really flip unless you actually give it some force.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. There's a lot of Transformer toys that have done that in the past, and none of them are ever loose.
Yeah.
They always, like, another good example is Universe Dinobot with his flipping panel, which is,
that's a good example.
Maximal Predacon and, I guess, Dino Skin, if you will. So, I mean, there's been a lot of examples of that. I'm pretty sure they're not going to screw it up this time around. So I'm confident.
Just to comment on the red and purple signs, I'm going to go all Phoenix Wright and claim objection because the Target 2 packs, which were animated branded, had Shockwave with red and purple, and they had Sunstorm with purple.
But and what's interesting with that though, General Techno, is the Legends figures that were included in the Zellers / I guess whatever exclusive packs there. Those 2 packs, the ones that came with the clear lockdown.
Yeah, they're silver, aren't they?
They were silver on those Legends figures, but the same Legends figures released in Universe. That's why I asked Derek White on the phone. I'm like, well, if his logo is red, does that mean we're going to be seeing him in Universe? I was kind of like finding out like where this toy would end up because isn't animated finished,
Right.
And he's like, he's not sure. No one's sure where this is going to show up. And this was at BotCon, so by then we weren't really sure at all where these toys are going to be. I mean, hell, if this toy ends up being released under the movie card back, I don't care. I really don't care. Give me Revenge of the Fallen. Obviously I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, hopefully it won't. I don't see why. I mean, I understand the animated line is currently over. But why wouldn't they be able to, because they are animated figures, they're based on the animated stylings, why wouldn't they be able to use those? I mean, I don't think Hasbro would lose the rights to animated,
Okay, how it works is that it's very difficult for Hasbro to convince the toy companies, not toy companies, to convince the
retailers,
the outlets, the retailers to buy a case of animated when it's been over. Let's put it this way, say like animated's over, it's done and everything, and then a year and a half later or a year later, they tell Walmart, yeah, we have a case of animated Wave 7. I don't think anyone's going to pick it up in light of, say, whatever the new show is at the time. Let's call it Transformers Battle of the Allspark or whatever the new animated show is going to be called. Like, I think they're going to focus more on that, and I think that's going to be, it's going to make it even more limited.
See if they released it like,
To give you a good example.
I mean, if they released it next week, they could still release it under animated line. I mean, it's not.
Well, I want to give you a good example though of that. Before the Universe line was even created, and I mean the first Universe line, there was a subset of Dinobots that were done
Oh,
in
those.
G1 Dinobot colors. Okay, that set didn't have any kind of proper title or anything. A lot of times people just call them Transformers Dinobots, but not like the Beast Machines Dinobots. Those are very hard to find because a lot of retailers just didn't bother to pick them up because of its ambiguity.
I saw a lot of those.
Well, there was. I remember a lot of people were saying, "Oh, you go to like Sam's Club. There's billions of them." You know. Like,
What about? I saw them at Walmart and stuff. So.
Oh, well, it's possible that maybe Walmart picked up a case of it at the end or something. Like it could. There is individual stories where people found a lot of them, but as a general whole, they were actually very difficult to find because a lot of retailers didn't pick them up at all because it was in between Beast Machines going into Robots in Disguise, aka Car Robots, and they were just like, you know what? Yeah, let's just like pass on this and wait for that RID line to come out, you know?
And then Hasbro went and shuffled stuff in like they did with Megatron Megabolt and and the Aerotech Optimus Primal and Cryotech.
Yeah, that's when all the tail end toys ended up finding their home in other lines. So again, who knows? Maybe the next animated series that's going to come out, they'll just find their home there, you know?
Yeah, myself, when it comes to the animated series, I know that Wyatt's a freelancer, and I know that they want to do an animated series that's based off the movie, and I know he can do some really nice movie-style animated stuff. See Scalpel. Mm-hmm. So they better hire. I'd be very much in favor of having a TFA sequel that's more movie-style in terms of aesthetics.
We'll see what happens. It's sure. I mean, I can't predict anything at this point. All I know is I really want that figure to come out, but, they're definitely looking for the right way to put it out there. They can't attach it to the Revenge of the Fallen card, I get a feeling, because what if they want to do a movie Rodimus down the line? They'll be like, well, wasn't there already
what
a movie
about rights? Would Hasbro have the rights to the molds then, or how does that work?
Oh, of course, because you have to realize.
There
was a lot of unused. There was a lot of unused Universe toys.
Yes, I know. I'm just wondering, based off of club use sort of thing, like contracts and stuff.
No. The only molds that Hasbro isn't allowed to touch, going back to that whole like what BotCon could use story, it's just the stuff that was designed by those movie designers. Because all those movie design toys were done by a special like American crew of designers,
I'm just wondering, so would later wave guys like, say, Mindwipe and Bludgeon and stuff, like we know that Hasbro's main team has been floating around with Bludgeon concepts for some time now. Would that fall under the banhammer for BotCon, or?
You know what? If that toy was invented for the movie, like with the movie intention in mind, then we know right away who designed. Because again, the only reason why we can't use designs is whoever that faceless group of designers are that doesn't want their stuff being used right now. Like there's no rights to it. If Bludgeon was designed by those same guys, then sadly, yes, it's going to be like that.
Yes, but we know that they were working on Bludgeon tank designs for some time. So
okay, so then definitely we could see a Bludgeon repaint, remold, whatever in the future. Same goes for, like again, we all love that movie Lockdown looking one, but if that was designed with the movie in mind and everything, then we're not going to see it. It's the same thing. Like I know like Camshaft and Swindle from the Movieverse, they're shitty toys. But at the same time, Hasbro Fun Publication can't even touch those to use them as repaints because of that absolute fact that they're not allowed to touch the movie molds at all.
Well, those are Activision designs, though, aren't they?
Yes and no.
Because Activision did the designs for those figures. So.
It's hard to say. Yeah, again, so there you go. So maybe there's a whole bunch of.
Because I'm curious how it works, because you've got Activision that did the movie drones, you've got Digital Domain that did and ILM that did all the movie designs, so I can see those being off limits.
Well, there you go. That's what I mean. So there's a lot of hairy business that is involved, and a lot of probably like rights and all kinds of things.
Because like Hoist, for instance, sure, Hoist was based off of a truck in the movie and based off the drone. They didn't have any reference art of the drone, so the designer did him from scratch based off G1 Hoist because of the fact that they didn't have any reference art from Activision. So would that mean that it's Hasbro's or not? Because it was a Hasbro designer.
It's hard to say, but either way, if Activision designed it, I think that would make it even more difficult for Fun Publication than get the rights to use the mold.
Yes, but I'm saying in this case they didn't use Activision's final robot design because they didn't have the model for it at the time.
But then that being said, then if Hasbro then designed it, correct? Who did? You know, like, so was it those movie guys? And if it is those movie guys, then once again we're back to the point that
one was that Alex Kubalski or whatever his name is who works for Takara.
If it's 100% the Takara guys, then it's free game. It makes it a lot easier. If it's it's really difficult to get our hand. It's the same thing with animated. We're never going to see any of those animated designs for a while being used in BotCon, just because it's like Cartoon Network, Studio, and everyone. They're all tied up with those.
Yeah,
it's all theirs.
I just don't see. Animated only ended 3 months ago. If you count, this is the last week of July when we record this. So technically, the way I look at it, it's almost August. So animated only ended 3 months ago. If they release the animated figures under the animated line by, say, September or October, I don't see why stores wouldn't pick those up, even though the Revenge of the Fallen line is still out. I don't see why you couldn't have, even though these are select number of figures, like 2 or 3 figures under the animated line, or what if Hasbro went to Big Bad Toy Store and said, hey, do you guys want this exclusive to sell online?
It's a possibility. It could be a Hasbro Toy Shop toy exclusive. That's one way I could see it. I could see it, as scary as this would be for a lot of people, BotCon exclusive, although I would hate that.
Yeah.
I personally, how I see it as an exclusive to a specific store under a universe like kind of multi kind of line. Like, I think that because I know Universe is ending, and then they're gonna go with again some other kind of title for this multi throw anything together line, and I get a feeling it's gonna fall under that. I don't see it falling under Revenge of the Fallen. I don't see them bringing back the animated name. I think because the best way to entice these distributors and everything is to just tell them, here, we have a new line, it's hot, it's brand new, it's more homage stuff, and they'll eat it up, as opposed to, we're doing one last go. You have to realize, tail ends of lines are always difficult to get.
But the thing is, these figures, especially, who gives a crap about the gold-faced Grimlock, but, especially the Rodimus and the RC, these figures were not released on the original animated line. They're figures that, showed up the end of Season 2, or beginning throughout in the entire Season 3, with the exception of Rodimus, because he got, cosmic busted. But, you have these figures in the entire third season of the show. They're obviously hot figures. Between you and I, Protoman, we're probably going to at least buy 3 or 4 apiece. Just between the two of us, see the same thing. I don't see why that they wouldn't do it, regardless of in-line.
You know what? As much, again, like, to Walmart, that means nothing to them. It really doesn't.
Well, Walmart sucks.
I know. Well, I know. I know it's hard to grasp, but it's true. It's just, it's like, you know what? I go to my Walmart and I stare at the Transformers section and I see the humongous Revenge of the Fallen wall of stuff, and then I see the small little leftovers of Universe section, and then I see the 1 or 2 animated lug nuts, that are just hanging out. And I bet this is the same at every Walmart around the world. They're just kind of just sitting there. And you know what? That shout wonders to Walmart. And it does. If they then come to them and say, we got it. Because, look, any line at all, the tail end is always scarce. People were driving themselves nuts trying to find Gray Shockwave and Wreck-Gar and Skywarp. Why? Because they were tail end of animated. When tail end of Robots in Disguise came around, everyone was going nuts trying to find the Skyfire and the Megabolt Megatron and the G-Axis. If anyone remembers those.
So then again, I posed the question, why not make it, especially for the animated figures, why not make it an online exclusive with either HTS or TRU online only,
because of $30 shipping to Canada.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
So it doesn't really bother me.
That would in all honesty, how I see them going about it, because they put so much time and effort into the engineering of these molds. See, a Hasbro Toy Shop exclusive normally, and in the history of all Hasbro Toy Shop exclusives, every single one of them in the past has been a repaint. Always.
What about the Lio Convoy?
Well, that's an exception because it was kind of a toy that was already mass released elsewhere in the world. But the first one ever was they released Shadow Panther, and that was years ago. We're talking 1997. Shadow Panther was released through Hasbro's website that you could buy it there for American residents only. And after that, we got the Lio Convoy opportunity years later. After, I think it was 1998, 1999, and then we got those book box special edition Universe Classics, whatever. Again, all repaints or molds or whatever that's got a mass release. But engineering went behind these. Engineering went behind RC, but it went behind Bumblebee. It went behind Rodimus. So there's a lot of money that has already been put into these toys. So I see them wanting to make as much money as humanly possible and not trying to just factor in on a niche market of people who have a credit card. Especially they would be alienating Canada, considering the shipping rate, you know. So
if I might interject something, Proto Man, I've got an observation on how they might get these out. Some people saw, this is just putting a few things together. I saw something recently with people finding pictures of the animated figures on Kmart's website. Like, not actually listed, but there's pictures on there.
Oh, you know what?
Add this to the fact that Kmart, if memory serves, Kmart paid a whole crapload of money to Hasbro to become the official, the big Transformers store for the Transformers movie line. And Kmart, I don't think I've seen the exclusives for them yet, other than maybe a Minicon set or two.
Yeah, the Minicon 12-pack.
Now, Kmart's going. If Kmart paid all this crapload of money for the this license, I'm sure they're going to want some exclusives out of it.
And let me tell you something.
Hasbro's got all these unproduced molds lying around that they know people want, and they want to get out somehow. So they can always tell them, "Hey, we've got all this stuff over here."
Well, you know what? And a good thing about that is Kmart is directly linked with Zellers here in Canada. So any exclusives they get at Kmart usually shows up.
Well, not just Zellers, but Kmart exclusives. The Minicon pack was a wide release up here. Everybody
was.
had a Minicon pack.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, I saw it in Toys R Us also.
Yes, and there was some other. There's been other exclusives as well that we've gotten wide release of. Like, for instance, this is a Target exclusive, I guess. But like when Target had the Basics, that was a Target exclusive. But up in Canada, everybody got the Basics as a wide release item.
So there you go. So another prime example that I think that Hasbro could go. I mean, like I said, how I see it personally, it's going to be a store exclusive in a store, whether it be something that's widely available in Canada or a Target or Toys R Us or whatever. I see it as a store exclusive under a very, I guess, broadband line.
Yeah.
Whether it be a universe or whatever they're going to give us in the future of a Classics universe-like instance, or who knows, maybe, just maybe, they'll make a whole new line just for that, which would be kind of crazy, but
okay.
Either way, you know, hope. Just have hope.
Yes, I have another question for you before we end this. I was looking at the TFA Rodimus, the Photoshop image. It's my desktop on my computer. How cool would it be if somebody repainted this in the BotCon Shattered Glass colors?
I guarantee it'll happen, and if it doesn't happen, like again, they invested money in this mold. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a repaint before this is all said and done. Officially a repaint.
But I mean, like, just.
Oh yeah, of course it would look. Of course it would look amazing.
PR or whoever wanted to do that. How cool would it be to have TFA Shattered Glass Rodimus, the actual toy?
Oh, I'm behind it. I love black Rodimus repaints. You know, there's already been like 2 in the past. I would welcome a third one. Well, excuse me, there's been 3 in the past, so I'd welcome another one easily.
And you would have to add the goatee.
Well, you know what? It's a little extra paint, but it would be worth it in the end, you know?
Much so.
That would be great. It would be.
As I said in the beginning of this clip, I'm not sure what show this is going to go on. This is kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing.
Make a supplemental all-but animated Rodimus.
Yeah, it could be. I just don't know.
It's too long for to go on any show.
Well, it's only a 30-minute talk, so it's not.
It's only been 30? It seems like it's been longer. That might just be because of how much recording we've done tonight.
Yeah, we've recorded for overall everything. We've recorded for about 3.5, 4 hours tonight.
Yeah.
So
Jeans.
I don't know what's going to be in front of it or behind it or where it's going to go, but please enjoy this conversation we had about TFA Rodimus with General Techno. Say goodbye.
See ya.
And the goddamn Proto Man.
Watch the stars.
Bye.